Hi Capricorn, welcome to your end of August 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Let me see. I want to get my sage all stoked up. Alrighty then, let's see. Let's see what we got here. I like the natural lighting. It makes it a lot better. This is going to be like a 5-card spread this time. Okay. So the theme, the matter at hand for the end of August is the Queen of Pentacles, and this is perfect because the Sun goes into a fellow Earth sign, a Virgo, on the 22nd. And by the way, I'm recording this when the new moon is going into Leo tonight. Where I live, it'll be on the 19th for some of you. Now, for you, I think this is going to be the 8th house, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is, yeah, Capricorn. Wow. It's really funny because the 8th house is so much about transformation, and yeah, so this is like kind of the phoenix rising from the ashes. And because you have Pluto in your own sign, and Pluto rules the 8th house, this may be just kind of a positive development that connects to all of the experiences that you've been having in the last, as long as like 12 years now, since, or no, 12 years. And so if you can think back to 2008, I mean, starting at the beginning of the year, actually, that is how long Pluto has been in your sign. And then, of course, you have all kinds of stuff in your sign. Jupiter and Saturn, your ruler, has gone back in your sign. So having this new moon in the 8th house is kind of an affirmation from the universe that the work that you've done, the shadow work, the growth, and this may not be even on the conscious level, you may not have been trying to, but some Capricorns may very well have gone to therapy or begun some kind of spiritual practice or healing type of work done on you, or you have started some kind of a career in that area. All of these things can, kind of conspire to give you you're a whole new person in a way. And that brings me to another point. A new moon in the 8th house can even be like some kind of studies in the occult, like astrology and the tarot. If you have recently taken that up, that would also be part of this. So the Queen of Pentacles, to me, is you. And this is somebody who is able to feel nourished by the earth and also inspired by the earth. To me, I see this as kind of it's funny, I always have had a hard time with the word witch because it has, to me, negative connotations. And I think I was probably a witch I think I was persecuted in another lifetime, and that's why I have such a weird reaction to it. But the shaman, male or female, and I'm for some reason I want to attribute mystical or spiritual qualities to this person, instead of just talking about, oh, you love your home and it's kind of this place where you can, feel the sense of comfort from your surroundings or something like that. I mean, sure that we could look at it at that mundane level, but I for some reason I want to say something more, maybe because of that new moon in the 8th. Now, speaking of like those mundane things, it could be like if you are making a decision about whether or not to work from home, even though you now have the option to go back to work. And I'm thinking of the shutdown in recent months and how things are, now we are in the month of August when a lot of schools may be kind of transitioning back to full days, hybrid instruction, and what to do about that. So looking at all those angles, and if you are, I mean, it really doesn't matter your gender, because a man could be the primary caretaker too of children, but I'm just saying, let's say you are a woman who typically, I mean, I think of the Capricorn woman as a career woman, even if she has children. Like, it wouldn't like be an assumption of mine that a Capricorn woman with children would stay at home. But that probably happens a fair amount of time. It's just that there's the cardinal modality of Capricorn makes me think of somebody who wants to conquer all these worlds. So those kinds of issues may come up for some of you. In the past position, we have the Four of Cups, this idea of being offered something on the emotional level that leaves you lacking. So the thing that I would say about that is like an example would be, and this is really like kind of counter to what I just said, but if you are somebody who has recently transitioned back into the work world, you may have found that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. It may have been something before that was very, acceptable to you and fulfilling, and trying to go back into that situation may not have made any sense. I mean, may have not felt fulfilling, and maybe there's a confusion there because you're saying to yourself, but why has anything changed? It was okay before, why isn't it okay now? And the only thing I can say about that is, and this is, I think this has happened for a lot of people, or I hope it has in a way, because we get so caught up in these rigid schedules that when something is a disruptor and completely throws everybody off kilter, it's amazing how that can be something that is very enlightening. And that when you try to go back to quote-unquote normal, you realize that it doesn't have the same kind of resonance in your life. And I'm talking specifically about people who have children, because if you're the kind of parent who has mainly interacted with your children at night and on weekends, and now you've been surrounded with them all the time, you may have realized how wonderful it is. Now, some people might be laughing because I'm sure that it can be challenging too. It's not perfect, but that's fulfillment that kind of transcends any kind of accolades from career achievement or what have you. So you might be feeling left in the cold, that you can't really go back and act like the same anymore, that you want to have that role as a leader in your child's life. Now, if you don't have children, don't want children, are of a different age range, that this is not relevant to you, then I would say the Queen of Pentacles, I mean, even again, using the same scenario of having your daily life disrupted and maybe working from home, going back into that environment doesn't feel right. And it may leave you in the cold, it may leave you feeling uninspired. And I think one reason is because when, you know, this situation occurred, and I had heard other people, like spiritual teachers, talking about how this would have this effect of, you could say, forcing people to think about their lives, but just by virtue of disrupting a pattern, because we just have such a kind of reptilian brain that, you know, every day, you know, you just automatically are on this hamster wheel, that shutting that down really may have caused a lot of disruptions and anxieties and things like that, but it also reset the person's expectations. There were some times in those first weeks where I literally did not know what day it was. I'd have to ask, or I'd have to look on my phone or something like that. And yeah, and I work from home, so I'm not even like part of that world anyway. But it was still very discombobulating. So if you're somebody who was on that hamster wheel and you got thrown off of it, and now, you know, you thought that was what you wanted, you may be feeling a bit lackluster about trying to go back and do that. And maybe you have started gardening. The Queen of Pentacles can be gardening. If you have a home, maybe you're like actually enjoying this thing that you've worked so hard for. Your backyard, your everything. And so getting in touch with nature. That's why I was saying the shaman. Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking, oh wow, I know what title I'm going to make this video, Shaman's Blues. That's a song by The Doors, and I was just listening to that song last night, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I would seem like such a geek. Like, you know, how many people probably even know that song? The takeaway message from this situation is represented by the Three of Wands, which is a card of seeking new experiences. You see, I don't know if you can see the mountains in the background. So this is a card of expansion. This can be a card of, what do you call it, entrepreneurship. So that would be more of an independent type of a thing. And if you are in a corporate type of environment, you may now see that as artificial. And with the Queen of Pentacles, it's very down to earth, and it's very grounded. And with the Three of Wands, there's a creativity attached to it. So these kinds of things may be more appealing to you than trying to, you know, sell something that doesn't connect to you, that isn't a part of you. Selling somebody else's dreams or ideas. But there was something else I want to say about the Three of Wands. I was going to say greener pastures, but it doesn't really mean greener. It just means wide open spaces. Wanting adventure, wanting something more. Expansion, just expansion in general. So trying to go back to something that already happened that can never be experienced the same way. Excuse me. What's coming in? The Ten of Pentacles, which is a card of financial you know, affluence. This is a great card for money. And I was just thinking too, this is an inheritance card. And with the 8, with the, I was going to say 8, with the new moon in the 8th house, this is the inheritance house. So I don't know if you have had any kind of death in the family recently, maybe from the mother side of the family. The queen can be the mother. This is something that would have already happened though. And this is allowing you to change your path in life because you have the money to be more independent. The outcome is the 2 of Swords. So this is about having to make a decision. And you may feel very torn because there's 2 aspects that can indicate deception, the blindfold and the moon. The moon, I think the moon gets a bad rap, but because it's a reflection, it's basking in the reflection of the sun, I guess it's not really light. It's not really its own light. So it's, to me, I do see it kind of as a shadow element, and some of the shadow is self-deception. So with the blindfold, it's like choosing not to see certain things when you're making your decision. So an example would be if you're someone who makes a really good living doing what you're doing, but you're not, your heart isn't in it, which the 4 of Cups would suggest, then you have to have the guts to go off on a new adventure and trust that you will be rewarded for it, the 10 of Pentacles. But you know what? I feel like part of the problem is that there's not enough value placed on freedom. And people are saying, okay, can I make the same amount of money? And maybe you can, maybe you can't. Who knows? Depending on what it is that you want to do. But how will it feel to be more free? How will it feel to be more self-directed, where you can have a life on your own terms if you don't feel like you have that now? And if you are a parent and you would like to spend more time with your children, how much money is that worth? Since you're so concerned about money, you know, some people act like money doesn't matter. Of course it matters, unless they're on a trust fund or they're just living off of somebody else. Money is relevant as part of the consideration, but it's not the end-all be-all is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, I hope that this resonated, and I am promoting a specific type of combination reading, full-length readings, full-length natal chart interpretation with important transits for the next 12 months, along with the full-length tarot reading called the Whole Enchilada, and I have other types of readings specific to different areas of life. The link is below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.